Joyful blessings. This is Kaylin Castell. Very excited to share with you about the July 3, 2023 perigee, out of bounds, supercharged Capricorn full moon. The moon is with Nunki, an important star in the Archer, and the sun is with Sirius, an important star to the ancients. We're going to look at all of this and more. So when we look at the Capricorn mysteries, one of the things we can do is realize this is an excellent time to honor the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the wise elders, the ones who remember our origins and the path we set out upon eons ago. This illuminates the ancient records and the record keepers, the ones who know what decisions will benefit the current and future generations. So when we tune into that full moon, rising, traveling across the sky, setting, wherever you get a chance to tune in, you can open to receive these records or information or insights that are being transmitted by the moon at this time. So the waning Capricorn moon is also going to pass by Pluto. It says about 36 hours later. It's actually more like 29 hours after the exact full moon. And that's going to illuminate any remaining shadow, bringing to light all the issues that have prevented the full empowerment of this great turning of the wheel of time. We're going to be seeing that in a little bit in a moment. But here we have the from the Sacred Medicine Oracle by Asha Frost, the grandmother, the elder wisdom, and how the honoring and how it's about ceremony and how it's about creating intention and aligning ourselves with the energies present. So I thought I'd also just energize this further with a quote from Grandmother's Stories, Wise Women Tales from Many Cultures by Burle Muten. And this is just brilliant. She says, the wise woman was once as well known and reliable as the ground we stand upon. She held the knowledge of what went before. She was the keeper of tradition, the storyteller, the teacher, healer, and leader of her people. In many traditions, Grandmother Wisdom was considered the voice of the earth herself. And so we want to perhaps tune into how can we access, because I feel like the wise woman or the wise grandfather, grandmother, or wise elder lives within all of us when we are willing to tune into that, and it's in our DNA. So this is part of what this full moon is bringing. Now, just to a reminder for those who have maybe seen this before, and for those of you who haven't, one of the things is we're at this remarkable turning of a great wheel of time, of 26,000 year cycle, a galactic year. And the reason we know this is because the December solstice sun, when it reaches 0 Capricorn, marking the longest night and the shortest day in the northern hemisphere, opposite in the southern hemisphere, but a seasonal point for either hemisphere. And the sun is on the galactic cross at the galactic center. So this is something that we know has been happening since from 1962 to 2034 as the center point of it. The entire window, 144-year window, is from 1926 to 2070. And so every year, this is where the sun is rising within almost preciseness. It was in 1998 when it was precisely on this galactic cross, and it's very close. It's still very close, moving only 1 degree every 72 years. The other thing we're going to look at is Pluto in this full moon, and Pluto is back at 29 degrees Capricorn. It's going to re-enter Aquarius in January of 2024. And we can see how Pluto is sitting between the Archer and the Sea Goat, also known as Sagittarius. The Archer is known as Sagittarius, but we know this is the whole Archer is now overlaid by the season of Capricorn. And the Sea Goat, also known as Capricornus, is overlaid by Aquarius. So Pluto won't actually reach the Sea Goat, stars of the Sea Goat, until about 2028, just something that lets us know that there's a difference between the seasonal signs and the constellations. Now, on July 2nd, the moon is going to be crossing. It's out of bounds. It's below the ecliptic. It's below where the sun travels, quite a bit below. It's actually crossing directly over galactic center and transmitting right from the center of our galaxy. And this is preparing us for this full moon time. And we are going to be experiencing the moon crossing galactic center from now until, well, probably it'll be exact in 2025, and then it'll be about 3 years past that. So the moon is going to be going out of bounds when it's in the signs of Sagittarius, Capricorn, Gemini, Cancer for the next few years. And here we have the moon, the full moon on July 3rd inside the Archer, and it's near the star Nunki. I'll tell more about that in a moment. And within a few hours after the exact full moon, it's going to be aligned with Pluto on the 4th of July. And we'll look at that a little bit more fully in a moment. So the out of bounds moon means it's beyond the boundaries of the ordinary, where the sun can go. It's illuminating the extraordinary. And if you haven't heard me talk about this, then you can check out, I'll put in the show notes, the link to this article on the geomantic moon magic of the 19-year lunar standstill. And that will give you more insights and information about what's going on. But here you can see the sun at 11:18 Cancer and the moon at 11:18 Capricorn, Mercury at 14 Cancer with so the sun and Mercury are very close together, and they're with the star Sirius. We'll look at that a little bit more in a moment. Now, a perigee new moon or full moon is also called a supermoon by astronomers and astrologers alike. It's something that's really taken off in the last few years. And it means really essentially that the moon is closer to the Earth. So the magnetic pull of the moon on the Earth's tectonic plates and the magnetic field of the Earth is magnified, especially at a full moon. It also means that this super moon is perigee moon is rising, looking bigger than another, say the micro moon, or when it's furthest away from the Earth. It's also brighter, and it's just stunning to see. Now, the other thing is we're going to have August 1st, August 30th, and September 29th. We're also going to have these perigee full moons activating the Earth in a way that is getting started with this July 3 full moon. So if you want to find out when the moon is rising or setting, so you have a chance to see this huge moon coming up over the horizon or a setting, the moon set and moon rise times, you can use this time and date link and put in where you are, and then it will tell you. I did it for Tucson, Arizona, where I live. And so for me, the full moon rise on July 3rd is 8:25 p.m. It's at 7:24 p.m. the day before and 9:18 p.m. the day after. And so I definitely will plan to be looking at the horizon to see when the moon's coming up, so I get to see that. So this is an opportunity for you to do that. Now, there are all kinds of aspects happening with this full moon. I'm not going to go into all of them, but what I did want to bring in is that the sun and the moon are going to be coming into an exact square to Chiron. They're pretty close, within 8 degrees of Chiron, 8 or 9 degrees of Chiron at the time of the full moon. Within a few hours after the exact full moon, the moon will come into an exact square, and then sun a few days later will come into an exact square to Chiron. So this is an energy that's also being infused into this full moon, along with it being an out of bounds moon. So outside the boundaries of ordinary reality, it's almost 28 degrees south of the ecliptic, which is getting close to how far it can go in its most extreme. So when we think about the Chiron square to the sun and the moon, we can look at this as powerful, deep healing of trauma and wounds now being possible, inspired, and it's inspiring new perspectives aligned with our personal and collective destiny. We've got to heal the wounds so we can move forward in a new way. So something to tune into around this moon. Now, the sun is entering the constellation of, or has entered the constellation at the time of this recording, has already entered the constellation of the Twins. That happens from June 20th. It travels through the Twins until July 20th. And so this is how the astronomers are dividing up the sky. And this is when they say that the sun is with the constellation, also known as Gemini, but it's easier if we call it the Twins because it's in the seasonal sign of Cancer. And if we think about the Twins as being a powerful symbol of duality, including the dual nature of form, physical reality and spirit, non-physical reality, then this is a time when there's an illumination about how these seeming opposites are working together to help manifest wholeness. So that's what's part of what's going on with this full moon, with the sun traveling through. So we had the moon enters every year on June 22nd, enters the twins. And then this year on July 3rd, it's going to be in the midst of the twins at the full moon. And then on July 17th, there's going to be a new moon. So the moon will have come back and caught up to the sun here. It's on the edge of the sacred hoop. The sun will exit the sacred hoop on July 20th. And I've done some videos, and we'll do some more on the sacred hoop of stars. So this is pretty spectacular just to consider where this is. So we can imagine that this is an opportunity to transcend the seeming opposites. And we can think of opposites as like good and evil, light and dark, right and wrong, strong and weak, happy and sad, wholeness and separation, giving and receiving. That these opposites are not actually polarizing. If we can look at especially if we think about, we need the light, we need the dark, if we need the night in order to regenerate and rejuvenate and get ready for the next day, we need the light in order to be able to experience life as we do on the planet as it is. So that's just one example of how those work together. So as we're transcending or uniting these opposites, that supports the manifestation and realization of the divine plan in our reality. So again, this is a powerful time. Now, the other thing is that the sun on July 5th or 6th will be in exact zodiacal alignments, pretty close at the full moon, with the star Sirius. You can see that Sirius is way off the ecliptic, but it's not visible because the sun is so bright, and the no stars are visible when the sun is in the sky. But this Sirius is at 1424 Cancer. So within a few days, July, it's going to be on July 6th this year, I believe, that it's with the sun catches up to be in an exact zodiacal alignment with Sirius. And something that's just maybe interesting for people to know is that Sirius will shift to 15 degrees Cancer on August 20th of 2066. So it's a while. It's down the road before that's going to shift into the next degree. But if you have anything in your chart around those degrees, that could be pretty powerful. Now, here's the exact full moon on July 3rd, and you can see that it's not far from the star Nunki. And in the backdrop here, we have the Archer's arrow pointing towards galactic center. And this is, Nunki is where the Archer pulls the arrow back. It's at that nexus point. And we're going to look at that a little bit more in a moment. But it's only 1 degree and 22 minutes from Nunki. Nunki is the only star in the sky that still has its Sumerian name. We'll look at that in a moment as well. So 2 hours and 10 minutes after the exact full moon is when the moon is going to catch up to Nunki. So here we can see at 6:50 a.m. on July 3, the moon is with Nunki. Of course, it won't be visible because the sun's in the sky, but just so you can see what's going on here as the Archer is pulling back its bow to shoot its intention directly into the galactic center, or the galactic cauldron. Now, on July 4th at 9:36 a.m., the moon has caught up to Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. And this is shining a light on the shadow that needs to be transmuted and transformed at this time. So these are just some different ways of seeing the Archer and Nunki, where the star Nunki is. It's at the, where the Archer's pulled back the bow on the arrow on the bow. And this is another way that it can be drawn in the sky. I don't really like the way that we tend to do it now, but the way that the astronomers tend to do it now, but it's the star maps, tends to be what it is. So I just like to give you a different sense of that. And you can go out on the night of the full moon and perhaps spot where Nunki is. Even if you don't know which exact star it is, you can tune in to receive the information, because as they say in Pegasus products and Starlight elixirs, for thousands of years in all cultures, people have been meditating on their favorite stars. Many rituals have been focused on these heavenly bodies. By gazing at certain stars, breathing in their energy, and directing that energy to certain areas of the body, profound change is available. An intention or thought of gratitude and connection can also greatly serve this process. Not only can the stars and those sentient beings that dwell amongst them broadcast thoughts and energies directly to us in a quick manner, but we too can send our thoughts and feelings to them. We inform the mysteries as much as they inform us. So star meditations can benefit most, and in combination with the appropriate star, planet, nebula, galaxy, comet, elixir, the effect can be felt exponentially. So with the moon near Nunki and the sun with Sirius, this is a great time to meditate on those two stars. Now, Nunki, something else to know about it is that I love this. Artemis was symbolized as the archer, and she slays Orion with her arrow. So this is something that this constellation did have an association with the feminine archer in times past, and that the archer is pointing its arrow to galactic center, or the galactic womb, or the galactic cauldron, as we already talked about. Now, the Starlight Elixirs and Cosmic Vibrational Healing by Michael Smolkas and Fred Rubenfeld, they say that there's a powerful direct connection that exists between Nunki and the nexus of information, wisdom, and awareness that is the center of the galaxy. The center of the galaxy is an origination point for energies of creative force, information, and awareness from and can stimulate a new contextual view, a new idea, or remembering of an old idea now brought into form in a new way. So tuning into the moon, crossing this part of the sky with this star, and tuning in with intention is powerful. And then Paige Bryant reminds us in her book, Star Walking, Shamanic Practices for Traveling into the Night Sky, that our ancestors made use of the power inherent within individual stars, the esoteric knowledge of the constellations, the secrets of celestial computations, and of cosmic order. The cultures who possessed that vast body of wisdom in its entirety were able to answer vital questions about the nature of the universe and make giant leaps in evolution. They taught that all life is sacred and that all is alive, every star, every planet, every tree, every stone, everything. That knowledge gave them a technology that still puzzles us today. And we can start reclaiming that technology by going out, being under the sky, being with the full moon, knowing what stars it's with, etc. So just hope that this was informative and that it inspires your full moon ceremony, as we have this big out of bounds full moon coming up over the horizon on the night of July 3rd. July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, it'll be a very big full moon. And I will post some links for Sirius, for more on Sirius, on Nunki, on the out of bounds, and the lunar standstill in the show notes. And or you can go to my website, CaitlinCastell.com or celestialtimingscott.com, and find the articles and videos that are there on these subjects. So happy full moon, everyone.